Chicago. Speaking of Illinois, Anthony, we made the Chicago Sun-Times yesterday.
Oh.
Big, huge article. Another big, huge article about your pals. After all, we are the pioneers of satellite radio.
Yes, we
They
are.
calling us the pioneers.
And in the covered wagon, taking the family out to the frontier. That's what we're doing.
Well, that's why I want to read a little bit of this, because you were joking the other day that every article we had the same quotes.
Same quotes.
I was using the, people were asking, well, what are you going to do to top the sex in St. Pat's thing? And I said, I don't know, sex for Allah? Yeah. Or sex in a mosque. We used that in about 10 articles. Mm-hmm. And then they asked us what we did during our two-year hiatus, and I said I played golf with old people.
Yeah.
Over and over again. That made the articles. And then you like to use the old, you don't go to CNN for dick jokes. Why would you come to the Opie and Anthony show for news?
Yeah. That's hysterical.
Although I think we did a fine job with the news today. In the first hour of the program.
Go.
So the Chicago Sun-Times wrote a little article on satellite radio. I just want to read our parts. It's a long, long article. I don't want to bore you guys because people said that you guys should read less on the new program. We can't help it that we're getting a lot of this press. It's kind of cool, right?
Sure.
All right. Well, the headline, when the FCC gags come off, Anthony. On Monday, October 4th, frat boyish radio duo.
Frat boyish?
What
are we, paddling each other?
We haven't heard that one yet.
I wish.
These guys all come up with the craziest ways to describe us.
Frat boyish.
My
We're
favorite
doing
is
peg stands here in the studio, raping girls.
Trains.
Trains.
Not that I would know anything about training a girl. But anyway, my favorite is when we were in Sync Magazine, and I was called the pumpkin-headed.
Pumpkin-headed. Yeah, what was that? Was it pumpkin-headed?
Pumpkin-headed. Opie, the pumpkin-headed what? What was the other adjective? Here, give it. There it is.
Pumpkin-headed.
The latest issue of Sync Magazine. We're in pretty much the last page of the magazine.
That sounds like an insult.
It says,
pumpkin. Maybe the color of your hair he was trying to go for.
Well, it's strawberry blonde. Hughes, the pumpkin-headed half. That's what it was. The pumpkin-headed half of XM Satellite Radio's The Opie and Anthony Show. That's my favorite description so far.
Yeah.
So anyway, the Chicago Sun-Times, on Monday, October 4th, frat boyish radio duo Greg Hughes and Anthony Cumia, a.k.a. Opie and Anthony, opened their show with comedian George Carlin's infamous monologue, Filthy Words. Why? For symbolic reasons, partly, but also because at long last they could, Anthony.
Yes.
Hired at federally unrestricted satellite network XM Radio nearly 2 years after their much-publicized 2002 sacking by Infinity Broadcasting after a segment featuring descriptions of a couple having sex in New York's St. Pat's Cathedral, a bit that drew a hefty $357,500 fine.
That ain't nothing.
From the FCC. By the way, we have not paid that fine yet,
of course not.
and I don't think we ever will. The jocks no longer must contend with loosely defined regulations involving broadcast decency.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's a lot of babble, and then over here, it's Anthony commenting. It's all about being able to discuss sometimes adult subject matter plain and clear, Cumia says, without having to go through all the ritual that you would have to go through on traditional broadcast radio just to make the point, which is so true.
Yes, it is.
Just to get the conversation started, to get people up to speed as to what you're talking about. We wasted so much time speaking in code just so we could say the word fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The first day or two, I think both of us kind of found ourselves cursing a little bit more than we probably would have because it was like, oh, wow, look how cool this is, Hughes said. But you know what? It got old really fast, and we started a rule on our show. Don't curse just to curse. If it comes out like we're just talking off the air, then let's do it. But we still find ourselves kind of editing ourselves and using initials instead of curse words and still using a lot of the code words that we invented. Hoo. Euphemism, after all, can be far funnier than X-rated bluntness. The raw stylings of Carlin, Richard Pryor, and a handful of other bawdy bards notwithstanding. For one, it's less...
Bawdy bards?
Linguistically
lazy. It's not a quote
lazy.
from you, right?
No. This is the... No.
I'm ready to walk off this radio show.
What, you don't like the word bawdy?
Bawdy bard.
What is a bawdy bard?
I don't know.
It's a bawdy bard.
Bawdy is like racy.
Yeah.
I don't know what a bard is.
A bard. The immortal bard is Shakespeare.
For one, it's less...
bard would be, what is the definition of bard?
I don't know. Someone help us out. Just send it on the instant feedback. For one, it's less linguistically lazy. Also, it's less in your face and more easily digested. Unlike most TV
It's an entertainer. of
Unlike
some
most
sort.
TV, radio by its very nature engages the mind, says Inside Radio editor Tom Taylor. They love talking to this guy, Tom Taylor, all the time. Any kind of audio storytelling requires some kind of activity, some kind of participation on your part. If there's a definitive line to be crossed in satellite land, Cumia and Hughes have yet to find it, and they're not sure they will. As ever, professional instinct and what Hughes terms the laws of humanity. That's your line. You've been using the laws of humanity.
That was my
thing.
line. That's the only thing. The only barrier we have on this program is the laws of humanity. We can say whatever we want. We can talk about whatever subject matter we want. We just can't, do something like a Lacey Peterson or something.
All right.
As a little promotion.
The laws of humanity steer them
Like
on a case-by-case basis. Live radio, man. It's second by second, Cumia says.
Yeah, man.
And you have to make these decisions.
Cool, man. Live radio, man.
We're taking on the man.
Yeah, man. Let me tell you, it's groovy, man.
Body Bard, man.
I'm a body bard.
Yes, Steve.
A
Body
bard.
Bard.
Oh, yes, Steve.
Thank you. Here we go. 13 entries found for bard. First one. One of an ancient Celtic order of minstrel.
Sorry.
Wait, hold on.
Sorry.
Of course, you gotta wait. It's your
Bard.
music.
Does it say what you are from most establishments after 3 drinks?
Wow. And don't dare enter the studio before your freaking music.
Okay,
You know
I
the
apologize.
rules.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I
You got
apologize.
theme music and everything. Let's take advantage of it. Why is Body Bard eating a jelly donut? Yeah, that hair better grow back fast, man.
It's coming.
All right.
Okay.
That's what Stalker Patty said, too, and it took like a year and a half,
dude,
by the
this will
way.
be back in 2 weeks.
Body Bard.
42 weeks.
All right.
2 weeks.
Wow. All right. One of an ancient Celtic order of minstrel poets who composed and recited verses celebrating the legendary exploits of chieftains and heroes.
Yeah.
Or a poet, especially a lyric poet.
I knew what a bard was from EverQuest. You could be a bard.
You knew the whole time?
Well, I knew it was some type of entertainer.
You
but
didn't
I
want
didn't
to
know what
appear
the
smart on the
No,
show
I didn't know
today.
what the definition was. I wasn't able to define it as eloquently
You wanted
as
to,
Steve did.
You wanted to dumb down to our audience. You knew what Bard was the whole time.
Little bit.
It's also a piece of armor used to protect or ornament a horse.
A bard.
Yes.
Yeah, how about that?
A lot of equestrian references here, but it's primarily an entertainer.
All right.
All right, thanks, Steve. And there he goes. Martini Steve, everyone.
Yeah, big martini glass in hand with that huge olive in it just swishing itself around.
All right,
Love
we're,
it.
we're just about done. This was in the Chicago Sun-Times yesterday. Live radio, man.
Yeah, man! Let me tell you, fuck the establishment, man! Live radio, man. Yeah, man. Oh, stop.
Did you really say
What a
man?
dick. I probably did.
Because I'm usually the one that goes dude a lot, but
Man.
I've never heard you say man.
Live
And then-
radio, man. Oh, what an ass. What a complete ass I am. Man.
Oh, like I'm telling you.
Look, I don't need you, man. What a dope.
Opie and Anthony say, we're not going to take it.
Yeah, man. Dude, it's live radio, man.
Let your freak flag fly, man.
Oh, what an ass. I will never say man in another interview.
Well, take off the tie-dye shirt, and then we'll
Oh,
believe
come
you.
on, man.
You're looking like a hippie all of a sudden over there. Jesus. Live radio, man. It's second by second. I can't get past that.
I'm a dick.
Wait till you hear what I said. Live radio, man.
Man.
It's it's second by second, Cumia says, and you have to make these decisions between what you think is going to be really good radio and what might get your ass thrown off the air. At this point, says Hughes, we're just doing our show and figuring it out as we go. We describe it as the Wild Wild West. We're out there kind of killing the buffaloes and exterminating the Indians with smallpox blankets and trying to find our territory.
Now, I understand
That's my
our
new-
need for analogy.
That's my new analogy, though.
In some of these interviews, and we've come up with quite a few, but that is one I don't even know where you were going with that one.
What was that? Could you say that again, please?
All right.
Listen to this analogy.
This article ends, okay? At this point, says Hughes, we're just doing our show and figuring it out as we go. We describe it as the Wild Wild West.
Right.
Okay? That's what we described the internet when it first came out.
The Wild Wild
The
West.
Wild Wild West. Everything was up for grabs, right? And then I say, we're out there kind of killing the buffaloes and exterminating the Indians with smallpox blankets and trying to find our territory.
We're in a Western here on XM Satellite Radio. We're in a Western.
We're shooting Indians, man.
Draw, man.
Smoking a peace pipe, man.
Watch it, man. There's some red dudes up on that hill, man.
Oh, quite a mean analogy you gave.
Isn't that?
Well, we're just gathering up blacks and enslaving them to do our labor just to kind of
Yeah.
see how much we...
Just take an American atrocity and spin it so it's us having a fun radio show. Yeah, sure.
We're just gathering up 6 million of them in the Warsaw ghettos and throwing them into the showers
Right.
that have gas coming out just to find our footing.
You know, we walk in the studio every day like they walked them into the gas chamber. You know, I look up at the sprinkler systems like they would look up at the Zyklon B coming and falling down on their heads.
And when the laughs come, we're like, it's only water.
Right. What an analogy.
I'm going to use that for a few
That's
more articles,
great.
though, I think. I'm going to go with that one for a while.
With the Western
Yeah, the Western theme.
It's just
poison blankets for the Indians.
We walk into the studio like the Yates children. I mean, are we going to have fun? Or are we going to be drowned by our mother? We just don't know until the show's...
You had to take it there again.
I can't help it. I'm obsessed with her.
All right.
You know, every day each one of us goes through the horror, I think, of having their own head chopped off. You know, it's the horror of coming up with a good bit or something as important as that. My God, Opie. So it's an American tragedy, and
this radio show is an American tragedy.
Smallpox in the blankets.
smallpox. Was that ever really done?
Oh, yeah, it was. We were the first terrorists. Who are you
It's like
kidding?
germ warfare.
Michael Moore told me. We were the
Oh,
first
then it's
terrorists.
got to be true.
Good job, Michael.
Michael Moore, great job.
Great job on the
swaying
election.
American vote. Swayed that American vote.
Time to go back to being a nobody.
Roger
Not only
and me.
not only did Bush win, but how many seats were lost in the House and Senate? Like 20?
The Democrats got nothing accomplished.
Nothing. They lost ground.
With this big push from the celebrities and Michael Moore.
Good job.
And Howie over there and Springsteen singing with his pals and Puffy pretty much threatening people that he was going to shoot them if they didn't vote. None of that shit
Good
worked.
job.
Smug, paternalistic, condescending, liberal idiots, and you're losing ground every day. Stop being so smug.
Pat Philbin from Moonachie checking in, Opie. Saying about my quote, Ant sounds like his best friend got shot at Kent State. Yeah, man!
See, when these guys get a little quicker in the other booth there, they could have thrown on Ohio.
What an ass.
Sure you don't have a Kent State analogy about the radio show?
I was thinking
You
about
know,
it.
it's just like people being shot by the National Guard when we walk in here. There's a potential that we're going to be shot down by headphones that don't work. Or some kind of sound effect that wasn't triggered in time, man.
All we want to do is go to class.
Right.
That's all we were looking
That's all
to
we're
do.
trying to do, and it's exactly like that.
It's like
That's
being
right.
a Red Sox fan. I mean, are we going to have fun and celebrate or take a pellet gun in the eye? We just don't know.
Who knows?
I was proud of that one.
Yeah, man.
I stayed up all night thinking of that one.